Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Retro Oblivion. Thank you so much for joining me. If you get something out of today's video, or if you do like the video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. So I went ahead and I pulled the trigger and bought myself another PS2 Slim. This is a Sony PlayStation, and this is the original one. I did a video on this not too long ago. So this is my second one. I wanted another PS2 for my bedroom. I just figured, you know what, it would be kind of cool to play some games in my bedroom. And by the way, it does make a great DVD player, so I could watch some movies in the bedroom. So I did buy this, and the conditions of the sale were as is, no returns, and it plays games sometimes. So I went ahead and I took the chance, didn't spend too much money on it, and I was going to take the PS2 and open it up and see if there's anything that I could do to improve its performance. And at the very minimum, I was maybe going to clean it up a bit. I got some toothpicks and some Q-tips, and I'm going to see if I could go ahead and take some of the dirt, the dust off inside the internal parts and see what that does. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, let me go ahead and show you the condition of this PS2 a little bit closer. As you can see right there, you can see a lot of dirt and dust all up in that console right there. I mean, this thing is pretty nasty. It's very gross. So if this thing is only playing games once in a while, I got a suspicion that, you know, it probably has a lot to do with all that dust and dirt buildup inside that console. So that's why we're going to open this up and wipe it down and get it cleaned up and see if that maybe helps the situation. Now, the first thing that you do need to do is you have to remove these little squares in the back of on the bottom of the console here. Okay, so after you remove these little rubber feet right here, it's going to expose these screws right here. And these are in the location. And then you're going to take that security tape from the manufacturer off. And when you do, the sticker is going to say void. But that's not really a big concern because, you know, this thing is super old and I'm sure it's way past its warranty period. Now, you don't need to use a screwdriver to get that out. I think what works a lot better is if you use a razor. You can get those rubber feet off a lot better, a lot easier. So let's go ahead and start unscrewing this. Okay, so this opens by just lifting very carefully the top, and it kind of unsnaps. There we go. You want to be very careful when you take this off. You just don't want to just rip it off because you have this little chip right here for the power, and that is connected to this top part here. So be very careful of this right here. This is your power. And there we go. Okay, so I'm just taking a quick look at this. And I got the Q-tip here. And I just wiped the bottom portion. And look at that. Look how dirty that is. Now, if you're going to take this thing out, just note that there is just this one screw right here, located right here. And if you unscrew that, this whole thing will come out. There we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bottom here. So here's the bottom tray of the PS2 Slim, and you can see a lot of the dirt. You can see the dirt a lot better through the light here. And we're going to go ahead and put that in the sink. And I'm just going to use some regular Ajax. Here's the bottom tray all cleaned up. I wiped it down and dried it with some paper towels. Looks pretty good. Here's the top of the PS Slim. And you can see that it does have a lot of dirt and scuffs on it. It doesn't look that bad. You get all this stuff cleaned up. And clean out this area here. Okay, so I went ahead and I scrubbed this thing down. I got it all nice and clean. Looks really good. And I'm just going to use a regular Q-tip and try to get back here and take some of the dirt and dust off. It's all the way back here in the door. And I'm sure you could probably take all this stuff off, but I really don't feel like playing with all the springs and stuff like that. You know, sometimes that stuff can be a real pain in the ass, so I'm not really in a mood to mess around with all that stuff, so that's why I'm going to just go ahead and do it like this. And it should be good enough because it's not really that dirty. It just needs a good wipe down, the top part. And it looks really good. I'm pretty impressed, pretty surprised. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this fan. This is the cooling fan to the board, but you want to make sure you pull this off of the board first. You want to unplug that, and there's 3 little screws holding this together. And the reason I'm taking this off is I want to clean it up and make sure it's dust free, because these things can get pretty dirty. And I think the rest of the board, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take a little vacuum and suck up all the dust and dirt in here. All right, here we go. Whoa, look at that. Look at all the dust in that fan. You can get the dust right off the fan by using this toothpick, and all you have to do is just very carefully scrape it off, and then you can pull it off. And this thing is really gross. Look at that dust right inside the fan. Pretty gross. It's a big chunk right there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and wipe these metal reed heads. I'm going to wipe those down and make sure that it's clean. And one is for DVDs and the other one's for games. I don't know which one is which. I don't think it really matters. But you can go ahead and you can use some alcohol to rub that down. Don't use too much though. You can just rub it, and then on the other end of the Q-tip, you go ahead and rub it dry. And then right here on the top, we have the lens. Now with that one, you can use a glass cleaner. I've seen people use like a Windex, but you want to wipe that in a circular motion. And again, do not use too much of these liquids. Just go ahead and wipe it in a circular motion to clean that. You never want to touch that lens with your hand or your finger. Okay, so let's go ahead and test out Ace Combat. That's going to be our first game. All right, cool. That's a good sign. Okay, I know I have no memory card yet. Just testing it out. All right, looks like we're in business. But I'm not going to be satisfied until I at least try one more game. So let's go ahead and try one more game. Let's go ahead and try Midway Arcade Treasures. Okay, that's a good sign. All right, it's looking good. All right, it looks like we're in business. Very cool, man. Just one problem. I don't know which game to play. And I'm going to go with Tubin. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and drop it down below. And I will see you on the next video.